Today is the day, 19th of July, the day that the first deadline that we set all that time ago is finally here. The players are leaving for Singapore as they fly away to their pre-season tour and look ahead to three fixtures against AC Milan, Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur in what is an opportunity to see what these new players are made of and hopefully an opportunity to finally see some of the other names we've been waiting to be confirmed make their entrance onto the biggest stage. We've got news of confirmed signings. Tomiyasu breaking his silence on his exit from Arsenal and a brand new name, kind of, to discuss in today's Arsenal Transfer Show. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys and girls for another episode of what is the Arsenal Transfer Show. Joining you every single morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Thank you so much as always for joining me and making this a part of your morning routines. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a really good start to your weekends. I hope your Friday was prosperous and your Saturday is going to be relaxing. And Sunday, well, when that comes around, of course, Arsenal will be in Singapore. And pre-season will be officially underway. And Arsenal, of course, getting ready to play their first game on Wednesday against Milan, which is obviously going to be a very exciting moment as the season kind of then, at that point, you can say, well, the new campaign is really here. Good morning to all of you joining us live in the chat box. Really appreciate you being here. Good morning to Jakob and Rob Alaway. We've got Dexter, we've got John, we've got TG and Brian, we've got Brendan, we've got Steve, we've got John, Alex, Panarasta, who I've not seen in the chat box for a long time. Good to see you. Grantley Poo, Steve, Jose, Green Weather, Benny. Good morning to Glenn and Brad. Good morning to John, Mo. We've got Pam. We've got Barry. Good morning to everybody. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. Do drop a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with those notifications turned on so you never miss a show. We do these every single morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. No excuses but to be tuning in. Of course, always more appreciative of those tuning on a weekend, those that can get up at 8 a.m. UK time for a weekend, get up to watch the show. Very impressive indeed. But help us to reach 1K every single day on the channel. That is what we aim to do. Right, let's jump into today's stories, shall we? We begin with the announcement of Noni Madueke as an Arsenal player officially. He has finally been announced as an Arsenal player. We've known that this has been happening for a very, very long time, but now finally we have indeed got the player, and he is here to be Arsenal's brand new winger and a new option for Mikel Arteta upon his arrival. He talks about kind of the decision to sign for Arsenal. He says, I'm somebody who goes with my gut feeling a lot of the time, and I feel like it's steered me in the right direction so far. So I don't think it's going to be any different here. I think it's going to be a great success, and I'm really happy to be here. I've just relaxed, waiting for the green lights, and when I came in today, it all felt real. I'm really happy and really proud, so it's a great moment for me. It's great to go back home, be with my mum, my dad. I know my missus. My mum misses me in the house. It's always a great team with a clear identity, and I can't wait to bring my style to the team and try to help the boys as much as possible take that next step, which of course we all know is winning a Premier League title or a Champions League title. Sport director Andrea Berta said, we're very pleased to have concluded an excellent deal for a hugely talented player in Noni Madueke. Noni's performance numbers and availability over recent seasons have been exceptional, reflecting his quality and professionalism. Noni is a dynamic, versatile, wide forward player with a strong technical ability who will significantly strengthen our squad. Noni already has valuable experience at the top level, and we know he will make a big impact at Arsenal. Together with everyone at the club, we warmly welcome Noni to Arsenal. Arteta says, we're also happy to welcome Noni Madueke to the team. Noni is an exciting and powerful young player with his performances and numbers in recent seasons being of consistently high quality. He is one of the most talented wide forward players in the Premier League. And at just 23, Noni already brings experience of club and international football, and he knows the Premier League very well. Having seen the quality of Noni's performances up close in recent seasons, we're really excited he is joining us. Noni joins our group with familiar England teammates and other players that he knows. He will be made to feel at home straight away. His arrival will really improve our squad, and we're all thrilled to have him here. From all of us, welcome Noni, and welcome to your family. He will wear the number 20 shirt, of course, previously worn by Jorginho, another ex-Chelsea player. Now the number 20 will be taking on a very different form, very different style of player as well. So really looking forward to seeing what he's capable of and what he can do. Really looking forward to seeing him hopefully prove a lot of people wrong and make a lot of people look rather silly, myself included. So yeah, I'm really, really keen to see what he ends up being able to achieve at Arsenal in the coming weeks and months. But there was a rather surprising moment during the announcement and during the release of the images, because Arsenal fans very, very quickly discovered a photo on the website of Getty, which had been released, that showcased Christian Mosquera in an Arsenal shirt. And this, of course, spread like absolute wildfire across social media. It's not a surprise, really. We all knew this is a deal that has been happening in the background and has effectively been done. But yes, it has been. It's not even a leak. It's just a mistake. Like, it's just mistakenly uploaded to the Getty website with, of course, the tag of Noni Madueke. Now, of course, when using Getty Images with my work, because obviously we have an agreement with Getty Images to use them for articles, when using them in that case, I obviously am using the Getty website quite a lot. And I noticed that this happens a lot. Whenever I'm typing in the names of players, the incorrect player will come up. It happens. It's just a mistake. It does happen. So I'm hoping that this doesn't have too detrimental impact on anyone who's at fault for this. But obviously it is something that spread across social media very considerably yesterday and was worth, of course, bringing up. Tomiyasu has conducted his first interview since leaving Arsenal. It's quite long. I'm not going to read you all of it. You can go and read it on Goal's website and translate it into English from Japanese. He says, it wasn't a sudden decision to leave. First of all, I want to make it clear that my contract wasn't terminated unilaterally, and I didn't unilaterally say, I'm leaving. We had a proper discussion and they came to the conclusion that this is the best for me, for the club, and for everyone. So I'm leaving. It all ended amicably. I was there for 4 years, but I only played 5 minutes in the last season, and I spent a whole year in rehabilitation. I was under a lot of stress and anxiety, and to be honest, I wasn't feeling like I was there anymore, and I was wondering, is this where my future is? He was asked about whether he wanted to change his environment. He said, yes, I was, including a lot of things. He went on to kind of share the story about saying goodbye to, the Arsenal players, his Arsenal teammates, and I think that, it's a really good interview. It's really worth sitting down and giving you time to read it. He talks a little bit specifically about the injury. He talks about the knee cartilage. It was originally on the inside of the knee, and he commented that he's about halfway there until he's fully recovered. So, yeah, it's a real shame to lose Tomiyasu. It's a real shame to see him leave, because I think he's a very well-liked player, and I sincerely hope that he can find a career beyond Arsenal now and find a place where he'll be able to get back playing football and find a smile again to play again on a more regular basis without consistent problems with injury. Ethan Nwaneri is indeed expected to be announced as a brand newly renewed contracted Arsenal player. All documents have now believed to have been signed. We reported, of course, the 5-year agreement on terms with the Arsenal youngster a couple of days ago, but that has now been all signed and sealed, and there is I hope at least, to be an announcement of Nwaneri's brand new Arsenal contract that will see him at the club until at least 2030. Nwaneri is going to be joining, of course, tiny little bit late to the pre-season tour. He was enabled an extended holiday after his participation with England's under-21s at the European Championships. But yes, he will be with the squad in Asia. Just a slight delay, I imagine, after the plane leaves, of course, this afternoon, this evening. But good news on that front, and we're expecting an announcement on this very, very soon indeed. Ben Jacobs reported yesterday evening that a full agreement for Viktor Gyokeres, of course, is now close. So there is an expectation that this deal, of course, will go through finally. It doesn't look like that it has been done in time for him to join the team on the flight that they are all leaving for on today. It'd be very surprising if that's the case, but he, of course, doesn't need to necessarily be on that flight. He will be on a potential later flight and join his new teammates for the tour in the imminent future. But hopefully we can see him play in as many games as possible. The club absolutely wanted him to be on this flight today. They wanted him to be part of the group. It's not down to them that this is taking so long. Sporting are really, really, really just absolutely battling over every single tiny little detail, which is extending this deal and this negotiation beyond what anyone really would have liked to have seen by this point. But Viktor Gyökeres, we expect to be an Arsenal player very soon. But the big story yesterday, really, and a brand new name in some ways, is a name that we've spoken about on the channel for a couple of years now that's been linked with Arsenal and linked to a move to North London and the Premier League for quite some time. And that is Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons, according to Fabrizio Romano, is a player that Arsenal continue to monitor. His price tag is thought to have dropped quite considerably. Arsenal have already had discussions with RB Leipzig this summer of a potential deal for Benjamin Šeško, but the suggestions are that their expected price demands for Xavi Simons have dropped. You heard from Elliot yesterday. If you've not watched our show, myself and Elliot from the Arsenal Vision podcast, of course, sat down to have a chat about a number of targets, and we talked about Xavi Simons, and it was mentioned that that price tag could have dropped to as low as 45, 50 million pounds. Really, really exciting player, and a player, of course, who plays in a number of different positions, can play in wide areas, can play through the middle, very technically gifted, very good dribbler, good at taking players on. Not necessarily as creative as kind of a more Ødegaard-style attacking midfielder. He's a lot more direct than that, but can still create opportunities for his teammates in abundance. And, of course, is a threat to goal as well. If Arsenal were to sign Xavi Simons, it would certainly rule out any potential of signing Eberechi Eze. It would be a deal that Arsenal would see as, probably the culmination of their summer business. We are expecting really only beyond Viktor Gyokeres and Mosquera probably one more signing to complete the 7 additions that Arsenal have planned to make during this window. We've known that they've wanted 3 attacking players. They've brought in 2 of those so far. We're only expecting 1 more between now and the end of the window. Will it be Xavi Simons? Will it be Eberechi Eze? Will it be Rodrigo? The clock is ticking. But it seems that these are the 3 main potential candidates for Arsenal to land a player during this window. I'll be honest about the Eze thing. I'd absolutely love him, as you very much well know. But the indications that I was getting yesterday were not ones that made me feel that he would be coming in at that point. Things can change, of course, and Palace are standing very firm, as they should do, on that £67.5 million release clause. But just the conversations I was having yesterday didn't give me the confidence at that point, at this stage, that Eze will be on his way to Arsenal. As I said, it's not conclusive. It doesn't mean it's definitely not happening, but it was something that made me feel a little bit less assured that we might be getting Eze in this window. Hopefully that changes and Arsenal can indeed push ahead, but they need to do some sales first. We know that. We need to see Reece Nelson move on, who to my knowledge is getting closer to a move to Fulham. You've got Fabio Vieira, you've got Zinchenko, you've still got 2 left-sided players. Arsenal aren't going to sign a left winger, certainly not until at least one of those 2 left-sided players that we already have moves. Even if they do move, we don't know if they're going to go. We don't know if Arsenal are going to sell them. We don't know if there is any significant enough interest to make that situation change. So a lot of different options for Arsenal, though. But outgoings is a focus at this point now in the window, having completed those deals for Mosquera and nearly, of course, having completed, a deal as well for Viktor Gyokeres. Right, let's go to part 2. Your questions and more in the next 15 minutes or so, right after this. Okay, this is part 2 of today's show, which of course means jumping into the chat box, tackling some of your questions, some of your thoughts, some of your feelings and queries and more. If you use a capital Q, it of course does help your questions to stand out, makes it easier for me to see them, and I try and go through as many of them as possible. If you haven't yet dropped a like on the video, please do drop a like and help us to reach our target of 1K every single day on the show. Right. Matt says, Tom, are the conversations you're having about Eze leading you to think that he'll go to another club or stay at Palace? At the moment, stay at Palace. That's the conversation that I had yesterday that made me think it seems more likely maybe that he goes. I was like 50-50, and then I started thinking maybe it's a bit more. And the thing is, the transfer window is so volatile. You can have a conversation with a contact of yours that makes you think one thing one day, and you can speak to a different contact the day after that makes you think slightly differently. You go back and speak to that contact that you first spoke to a week later, and then their point of view has changed. The volatility of the transfer window means things are changing so fluidly all the time that you have to be malleable. Your opinion has to be malleable. Your reporting has to be changeable, because things do change so dramatically and so fast in different points of the window. One move can change everything. A sale of a Martinelli would be transformative to Arsenal's window and potential to do other business in the summer. But that might not happen. It probably won't happen. So, yeah, it's very difficult to see anything on that front right now until Arsenal moves some players out. Harish says, both Eze and Simons are inside forwards, not out-and-out wingers. Given our strong links to these players, do you think that we'll see a tactical shift next season? Overlapping left backs, double pivots. They are players, of course, that will play more internally, but Eze definitely can play in a wide area. Do we see, therefore, that the likes of Lewis Skelly or Calafiori will overlap on that left-hand side? Maybe, potentially. Does it mean that we'll just play more internally, more centrally? We've really not used the central spaces enough for Arsenal, especially last season. It was far too pushed out to those wide areas at times, and it left us isolated and lacking in threat. So the internal area needs to have more threat to it, and adding a player of Eze or Simons' level, I think, certainly would improve that. D says, Tom, who would your dream signing be if you could pick any of the current players in football, and why? What position would they play, and who would they replace? I mean, when we get into the idea of dream signings, you can lose your head completely. Obviously, Lamine Yamal and Bukayo Saka in the same team would be incredibly exciting to see. It's hard to not get your head around the idea of that. You could look at potential attacking midfielders, and Florian Wirtz, prior to arriving at Liverpool, was a player that, could he have elevated Arsenal? Potentially. He's certainly going to elevate Liverpool. Or do you look at more other positions in the team? Do you think there is... annoyingly, Liverpool have done business I really like this summer. And Jeremy Frimpong, as you know, is a player I've had a lot of time for and a lot of appreciation for. But we still stand out with that centre forward. And Alexander Isak, of course, was that player, but the price tag was always far and away way too big for me to commit 130, 40, 50 million pounds to a player with that injury record. But if you could guarantee me that he's never going to get injured, obviously he'd be worth that money. But dream signings are always a strange conversation, because the reality is it's just not going to happen. 95 did it again, says, Tom, what do you think of Fabio and 40 plus million for Eze? Is that the same? Is that a sum that could interest Palace? I don't think so. I think it'll probably have to be 45, 50, probably 50 million plus Fabio Vieira. But even then, I have no idea if they have any interest at all in Fabio Vieira. So it's not guaranteed. I think they'd rather just have the release clause paid if Arsenal are able, of course, to do that. But that's it. Barry says, Tom, how did the golf go? Pretty good. Played Stableford, got about 35. So, it's about what I expect. It was a decent round, and it was a really good, it was a really good kind of course, actually. We played at Hurtmore, and I've not played there before, but it's kind of a shorter course. And we got around it quite quick. It was myself, Ed Aarons from The Guardian, and Joe Prince-Wright from NBC. And we're just, guys on the beat of Arsenal that enjoy a bit of golf and managed to get out. It was dry, and the ball rolled a long, long way, as it does when it's dry. But it was a great round, and I look forward to doing more of them. Rach and Tez says, hi, Tom. Is there any way of watching Arsenal's pre-season tour? Yes, you can watch it. You can purchase the... You can purchase the tour on the Arsenal website. If you go to the Arsenal website and click the live bit at the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can buy a pre-season pass. So you can get the games against Milan, Newcastle, Tottenham, Villarreal, and Athletic Club. Or you can just buy the individual matches if you want as well. But it's only, I think it's a tenner to watch all 5 games. So £2 a match. Pretty good, to be honest. Soup says Palace refusing instalments. Does that make Rodrigo more likely? I don't think Rodrigo is likely. Regardless, I think for Rodrigo to happen, Arsenal would have to sell one of Trossard or Martinelli. But that's the only way I see a deal for Rodrigo happening, if at all. Harvey says, listen every day. First time live as I start work mad early. Hold tight, Tom. Thanks, Harvey. Appreciate the kind words. Reese says, Tom, I dreamt last night Madueke will come in and smash up the league. Well, I hope that your dream comes true, Reese. Callan says, is there any way Kivior could leave to generate funds, but then we don't replace him? Have Calafiori and Gabby as backup, leaving Zidane for last year as cover. I don't think that's a reality. I think Zinchenko's future does lie away from Arsenal. I don't want to sell Kivior. I think Kivior's a really good number 2 for Gabriel. I think he will offer Arsenal loads next season. So I don't think Kivior will go. Zinchenko, there's definitely a chance that he could leave. Fulham as well. Again, I've heard their name mentioned around the Zinchenko stuff. Peter says, Tom, is Madueke going to wear the number 20? It would match the number of likes on this video. Oh, the number 200. So I thought you'd mistyped that, Peter. But yes, the number 200. So if we can get the number 1,000, that'd be even better. Amberley says, Rodrigo ain't happening. Time to move on from that one. Anne says, after the Sesko collapse, I really don't see us moving for Xavi Simons, but how hard is it to do business with the same club after talks on another player have broken down? Not necessarily too difficult. You know, a club will have a valuation of a player, and if you don't come to an agreement on that front, you don't come to agreement. They will have a different type of agreement or price tag valuation of another player. You know, I just think that the more likelihood is that if Arsenal sign another attacking player, it would have been Eze than Xavi Simons, but maybe the price tag being significantly lower than what Palace are expecting for Eze. And if Arsenal can't move the players on for the fees they want to move them on for, maybe Xavi Simons' price tag tempts Arsenal into a move. Natalie says, with all due respect, Trossard deserves a bigger club than Palace. And with all due respect to Palace, I do agree. I think he absolutely, you see those links to Bayern Munich. That's the level I believe Trossard is at. He can absolutely play Champions League level football. He's good enough to be that player, 100%. White Ryan says, hey, Tom, with Noni getting the number 20, could we see Gyökeres in 10 or Nwaneri in 10 and potentially Simons in 14 or Eze as a 14? Long time since we had an impactful 10 or 14. Well, Nwaneri is 22. He's taken a brand new number for this season, so his number's not changing. Gyökeres in the 10? I don't know. I'm not sure if that is the number that will be stamped for him. 14, you'd think would maybe be more likely for Gyökeres being a striker. And if you were to sign an Eze, maybe he would get the number 10 instead. Maybe that's how that would work. Nikkei says, could Simons' price drop since Leipzig need to sell and Sesko seems also likely at this point to stay? That could be a reason behind why his price has dropped. But also the lack of interest at the fee they were looking to sell him at is another one. That's also worth pointing out. Tizer says, I went through our squads, and if we add Eze and Gyökeres, we have 2 in each position, which means 2 big names will miss out on match day. 11 and 9 subs. Who would you leave out on a match day? It's a really interesting question, isn't it? Obviously, Gabriel Jesus is one of those players, you would imagine. And but I guess the question is, he would be the third one, because if you've got 11 players and 2 in each position, that's 22. You have 9 subs. 2 are being left out from the best 22. Jesus isn't in the best 22 right now. So who would you leave out? It's probably going to be in the defensive area. You could potentially see Timber at the start of the season might not be fully fit. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that front. You've got Kepa and Raya. You've got Timber and White. You've got Saliba and Mosquera. You've got Gabriel and Kivior. You've got Luis Skelly and Calafiori. You've got Zubimendi and Norgard. You've got Rice and Marino. You've got Erdegaard and Nwaneri. You've got Saka and Madueke, Gyökeres and Havertz, and Martinelli and Trossard. And we're still talking about adding an Eze, maybe. And that shows you the reality is that you can only have 20 players on their matchday squad. Who gets left out? Kivior? Maybe, but that's harsh. Mikel Merino? Norgard? Nwaneri? Who gets left out, people? It's a really, 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 really good question. And Zinchenko and Jesus, I didn't name in that 22, by the way. They were not named in that 22. So Jesus is out until the end of the year. Zinchenko, of course, we expect to be sold, but they're not even in it. They're not even in that best 22. 2 players still potentially being left out. Sammy Lokonga, Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, of course, as well, also not named. Who gets left out is the question. It's really good, Tizer. I want to know what people think. I'd love to know what you think. Tell us, who is it? Who are the 2 players for you of that 22 that I've named? Kepa, Raya, White, Timber, Gabriel Mosquera, Saliba, Kivior, Calafiori, I keep saying Gabriel, Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Norgard Zubamendi, Mikel Merino, Rice, Odegaard, Nwaneri, Saka, Madueke, Gyökeres, Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard. Who are the 2? Tierney's left. What are you talking about? Who are the 2 that are left out is the question. Someone said, Madueke, you're not leaving a £50 million signing out of the squad entirely. Not a chance. So when we sit here and say, we're not done, we need more players, blah, 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 blah. It's hard, isn't it? It's really, really difficult to start thinking about the idea that we might see 2 players of that 22 left out. Trossard, people are saying. Maybe Trossard left out. Havertz and Calafiori left out. Mikel Merino left out. Norgard left out. Really, really tough. Really hard to leave any of them out. Maybe Mosquera doesn't get straight into the squad. He's a brand new signing. Really hard. Really good question, Tizer. It's really made me think about the kind of the situation with the squad. Benny's given a member to the channel. Thank you so much, Benny. And congratulations to whoever it was who got it. Benny also left a super chat, says, happy birthday to me. You're not meant to spend money on yourself on your birthday, Benny. Get yourself a beer, though, mate, and you're doing outstanding work. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate the kind words, and happy birthday. I hope it's a good one. Enjoy it. Spend it with friends and family, and makes you realize what you got. People way more important than things. Always important to remember that. Matt says, has anyone done a wellness check on Šeško? Is he crying yet? Stephen says, I would like to move quickly on Simons. If he's the queue and the price drops before Man United pay 90 million for Šeško because they are desperate. I mean, 70 million pounds for Brian Mbeumo. Am I right in thinking Brian Mbeumo only has 1 year left on his contract? Is that true? I don't think it's true, but someone said it to me the other day. His contract runs out in 2026, but he has an option of a further year. So he has 2 years left on his deal. They've paid 70 million pounds. 70 million pounds for Brighton. Now, I like Mbeumo. I think he's a good player. I think it's a good signing on its own. But my goodness gracious me, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. So consider Arsenal spent less than 15 million quid on Mosquera, who's just got a year left. Wow. Goodness gracious me. Kieran says, what is the suggested price for Simons? 45 to 50 million pounds, I think was what was being talked about. Add Eze to that as well, indeed. If you sign Eze, Ant, you're leaving 3 out. It is incredible to think about this. Giorgio says, are you working preseason matches at the Emirates or are you going as a fan? I'll be going to the Emirates game. I'll be going to the Villarreal game, I'm hoping. But I won't be at the Athletic Club match because it's the Mrs. 30th. So we're away that weekend. So I'm not at the Emirates Cup game against Athletic, but I should be at the Villarreal game in the week leading up to that. Let's go to Anas, who says, Tom, what is happening for Gyökeres? Is it happening or not? Yes, Anas, it should be happening. Just chill out. Everyone needs to chill out on that front. It's at a stage of that deal where that to collapse would be beyond a shock. I couldn't fathom that deal falling apart at this point. Chris actually adds Dowman into the conversation. We haven't even thought about Max Dowman at this point, who we assume is going to get opportunities next season. But he is also not got at the moment a place in the 20 on a match day. Really, really difficult. Carl says, didn't Leipzig pay 70 million last season? There was a weird deal, wasn't it? Leipzig by Xavi Simons. I'm sure this is correct. They spent a lot of money to get him permanently, I swear. RB Leipzig complete record signing for Xavi Simons. Leipzig have paid an initial 50 million euros with a potential 30 million euros in add-ons. Okay, so 30 million euros in add-ons after us. They paid that when? Wasn't that this year they paid that deal? Yeah, they paid that in June. They paid that in January. So it's unlikely that many of that 30 million euros will have been activated, if at all any of them. Maybe some appearance bonuses, etc. But they didn't qualify for Europe, so I imagine a lot of that didn't happen. So they've paid about 50 million euros, which is just over 40 million pounds. They could still yet make a profit on him. Anthony says, Tom, from your perspective, are the players who are looking to leave on high wages, and will that be an obstacle for Berta? Zinchenko's on a pretty decent wage, so he's 28 as well. I mean, he still should be on that wage. He's a Premier League player. Reece Nelson's got a decent wage, but Fulham are interested in taking him on loan at the moment, so we're waiting to see if that comes to fruition. Fabio Vieira isn't on a big wage. I don't believe it's that high. I don't think it's even over £50,000 per week. I don't think. So I don't think that is going to be particularly high. It says 45,000 a week according to Capology. And then the other player, of course, is Lokonga. Again, I don't think he is on particularly high wages either. It's £50,000 a week as well. So, I mean, that's quite high, I guess. If he goes to Europe, say, for a 25-year-old. But it's Zinni's the tougher one in terms of wages. But that's the next task for Arsenal is moving those players on. That's the next job as well. Dre says, unfortunately, we can't judge them. We played Marino out of his 1-year contract for 37 million. He's poor. I don't think we paid 37 million pounds for Mikel Merino. I don't think it was that high. They might have add-ons that see it go to that high, but I thought it was a little lower. Yeah, 31.6 including add-ons. So it's 27.4 million with 4.2 million in add-ons. I don't know where 37 million's come from. Maybe you're thinking in euros, Dre. I also don't know how long was left on his deal at Sociedad. I don't know if it was 1-year contract, but 27 million quid compared to 70, Dre. It's night and day. It's not very comparable. Kieran says, holy wow, at that point, surely you can't go for both him and Eze. I prefer Eze centrally, but Simons is a wide player as well, so you could go and get both in the team. Also, in hindsight, Simons plays on both sides and is cheaper than Madueke. He's not really a winger. I don't look at Simons as a winger. I look at him far more as a central attacking player. I know he can play in those wide areas, but I'm more confident in Eze playing in a wide area than I am necessarily Simons playing in a wider area. I think that the signing of Simons has a more detrimental impact on Nwaneri than the signing of Eze does. I think the signing of Eze doesn't necessarily block Nwaneri anywhere near as much as the signing of Xavi Simons would necessarily either. And Tyler says, have I created an afternoon show or a possible column? Absolutely you have. It's really got me thinking, Tyler. I'm not working today, but that's definitely going to be on my list now to think of things to do. So it's a really, really good question. Gilbert says there would be injuries for Dowman and others to be potentially in the squad as well. Yeah, injuries we expect. They are expected to happen. Junior Film says, what are your thoughts on Madueke? He's more expensive than I'd like, but I'm not going to make any judgments until I watch him play. You know, I'm not going to end up being one of those that looks rather silly because they've made a judgment on a player before they've actually kicked a ball for the club. So let's wait and see what he does. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what he's able to achieve for us. And I hope he ends up being a good signing, of course, as well. Chris says, totally agree. Simons would flop big time in the Premier League. He isn't strong enough or brilliant enough for the Prem. I like Simons. I don't know if necessarily we agree entirely. I like Simons. I prefer Eze. But if we can't get Eze, Simons would be still a good addition to the squad. But I'd be interested to see how much of an impact that has on other players in the group as well. But yeah, I'm going to end the show with that question of Tizers. I want you to answer in the comment section, not the live chat, but the comment section after this is finished. When you think about the 22 players that are going to be as the number ones and the number twos and across the whole squad, is a lot. And you can only have a 20-day matchday squad. We're not including Zinni or Nelson or Vieira or Jesus, who's currently injured in that group of 22. Who are the two players that get left out on a match day at Old Trafford? Who's not in that squad? That's my question to you. I'm very interested to know what you make of it and what your answers are. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. I will not be here in this room tomorrow. I'm spending the evening at the in-laws, and I'll be there tomorrow as well. So you'll have different surroundings, different audio quality, I'm afraid, just for tomorrow's show, but hopefully it'll still be all right. But there will still be a show tomorrow, 8 a.m., of course, as well, as usual. But yeah, enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, stay well, stay happy and respectful. And as always, up the Arsenal.